Two companies are racing to build something they openly say could be the most dangerous technology ever created, and somehow they're getting paid trillions of dollars to do it. This is how OpenAI and Anthropic actually make money. Before we get to the money, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. OpenAI's own charter says their mission is the long term benefit of humanity. Anthropic literally puts AI safety in their company description, and yet both are in a sprint to be the world's most profitable AI company. One of them just raised $30 billion in a single round, the other is valued at 852 billion. So, what exactly are they selling? OpenAI started in 2015 as a non-profit. Elon Musk, Sam Altman, and others put in about $1 billion. The idea was if powerful AI is coming anyway, better to have it built by people who aren't purely profit motivated. That lasted about 5 years. In 2019, they created a capped profit structure. Investors could make a return, but limited to 100x their investment. Then they met Microsoft. Microsoft invested roughly 13 billion in OpenAI between 2019 and 2023. In exchange, they got the right to use OpenAI's models in their products, Bing, Office, Azure, and a revenue share deal that still runs through 2030. Today, Microsoft's stake is worth an estimated 228 billion at a 17x return. That's the kind of bet that makes enterprise software look boring. So, where does OpenAI's money actually come from? Three main buckets. First, consumer subscriptions. ChatGPT Plus costs $20 a month. ChatGPT Pro runs $200 a month. As of February 2026, over 50 million people are paying subscribers. That's subscriber growth faster than Netflix in its prime. Second bucket, the API. This is where developers and companies integrate OpenAI's models into their own products. You pay per token on roughly per word. GPT 4.0 currently runs 250 per million input tokens and $10 per million output tokens. Sounds cheap? A large enterprise running millions of queries per day is not paying cents, they're paying millions. Sam Altman said the API alone crossed $1 billion in annual recurring revenue in January 26. Third and fastest growing bucket, enterprise. Companies like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Salesforce are paying for ChatGPT Enterprise, custom deployments, private data, higher limits, dedicated support. Enterprise now accounts for over 40% of OpenAI's revenue and is closing in on parity with consumer. 9 million paying business users as of February 2026. Revenue per user way higher than a $20 subscription. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. OpenAI made $20 billion in 2025 and lost money. The company projected it would burn through roughly $9 billion in 2025 and doesn't expect to be cash flow positive until 2030. Why? Because running the world's most used AI product costs an insane amount of compute. Just to serve users, what the industry calls inference, OpenAI spent over 8.7 billion on Azure in the first 3 quarters of 2025 alone. Every ChatGPT conversation costs real money. To fix the compute problem long term, OpenAI is building its own infrastructure. Project Stargate, a $500 billion joint venture with SoftBank, Oracle, and other partners to build AI data centers across the US. The first site is already online in Abilene, Texas. The goal, 10 gigawatts of capacity by 2029. For context, that's enough power to run a small country. This is infrastructure spending at a scale we've never seen in the tech industry. Anthropic has a different origin story. In 2021, Dario Amodei and his sister Daniela, along with seven other OpenAI researchers, quit because they thought the company was moving too fast without enough safety guardrails. They founded Anthropic as a public benefit corporation. The original plan was to do safety research, publish it, and build safer models. That plan collided with the market. Anthropic's revenue model is heavily skewed toward business customers. About 80% of Anthropic's revenue comes from enterprises, according to CEO Dario Amodei. The main product is Claude, accessed via API with per token pricing. Claude Sonnet currently runs 3 per million input tokens and 15 per million output. But it's not just API calls. Enterprises buy reserved capacity, fixed rate deals that guarantee throughput, consumer subscriptions, Claude Pro at 20 a month, Claude Max at $100, $200 a month are real but secondary. Here's the surprise twist in Anthropic's story. Their biggest single growth driver isn't Claude Pro for chatting. It's Claude Code, a developer tool that autonomously writes and modifies code across entire code bases. Launched in early 2025, Claude Code hit $1 billion in annualized revenue in under 6 months. By early 2026, it was at $2.5 billion in run rate. Claude Code now accounts for more than half of all enterprise spending on Anthropic products. Developers apparently are willing to pay serious money for something that actually works. Anthropic's revenue growth is one of the more extraordinary charts in tech history. January 2025, $1 billion in annualized revenue. June 2025, $4 billion. December 2025, $9 billion. March 2026, $30 billion. That is a 30x increase in 14 months. Anthropic has reportedly now passed OpenAI in annualized revenue while spending significantly less on model training. For context, it took Netflix a decade to reach 10 billion in annual revenue. Anthropic did it in roughly 2 years. A huge part of understanding these companies is their investors, because the investors are also their cloud providers. Amazon has committed up to $33 billion to Anthropic, Google committed up to $40 billion. In exchange, Anthropic runs on their cloud platforms, AWS and Google Cloud. Both Amazon and Google are essentially paying Anthropic to validate their AI chips and cloud infrastructure. It's a circular ecosystem. Anthropic bills customers, pays cloud providers who reinvest back into Anthropic. OpenAI's funding story is equally wild. March 2025, $40 billion round at a $300 billion valuation. February 2026, 110 billion at 730 billion. April 2026, another 122 billion at $852 billion is SoftBank alone has put in $30 billion. The Stargate partnership with SoftBank and Oracle means OpenAI has over $1.4 trillion in compute commitments across 8 years. Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin. Sam Altman invented a new category of capital raise. Both companies face the same core challenge. The product is expensive to run. For every dollar of revenue, they're spending close to or more than a dollar on compute, salaries, and infrastructure. OpenAI doesn't expect positive cash flow until 2030. Anthropic is targeting positive cash flow by 2028. In the meantime, they are both completely dependent on the fundraising market staying warm. If investor sentiment turns, the entire model breaks down. This is why the valuation race matters. It's not just ego, it's survival. Here's the strategic picture. Both OpenAI and Anthropic have moats that compound over time. For OpenAI, it's distribution 900 million weekly users, 50 million paid subscribers, Microsoft everywhere. Getting another company to displace ChatGPT in the consumer's mind would take years. For Anthropic, the moat is trust. Enterprise buyers choose Claude for regulated industries, finance, healthcare, legal, because Anthropic's safety reputation lowers compliance risk. Different modes, different customers, both defensible. Anthropic is reportedly targeting an IPO as soon as October 2026 that could raise over $60 billion. OpenAI restructured to a for profit public benefit corporation in late 2025 and is on a similar path. The AI infrastructure spending race is projected to reach $600 billion cumulatively by 2030. Both companies are betting that the cost of compute keeps falling, Moore's law for AI inference, and that revenue grows faster than costs. If they're right, we're looking at the two most valuable companies in the world in 5 years. If they're wrong, it's the biggest synchronized crash in tech history. So how do OpenAI and Anthropic actually make money? OpenAI 20 billion in 2025, heading to 29 billion in 2026. From 50 million paying consumers, 9 million business users, and billions in API and enterprise deals, all propped up by $852 billion in investor confidence. Anthropic $30 billion in annualized revenue as of March 2026, mostly enterprise API, with Claude Code as their surprise breakout product, and Amazon and Google effectively subsidizing the whole thing. Both companies are losing money, both companies are growing faster than any software business ever has, and both companies are building the thing they said was potentially dangerous to humanity. Subscribe if you'd like to see how that turns out.